are just 6 days away from Super Bowl Sunday. The scene is set in Santa Clara for the Patriots and Seahawks to battle it out for NFL supremacy. Drake Maye is expected to start despite a highly publicized shoulder ailment. Maye will be the second youngest Super Bowl starting QB ever. The Seahawks haven't lost since November. With a win, they would become the fourth team to end the season with a double-digit win streak and a Lombardi trophy. And we've got you covered on both sides of this matchup. Jeff Darlington and Sal Paolantonio on the ground. Jeff, I want to start with you here. It's the Monday before Super Bowl Sunday, and we're still on oblique watch when it comes to Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold. Yeah. Where do things stand with that injury right now?
Well, let's start with some official housekeeping when it comes to that oblique injury to Sam Darnold. Now, last week he was listed in the 2 opportunities for the Seahawks to put out injury reports as a limited participant in those practices. But that's not really a true indication of what we should expect from Darnold both this week and moving into that game, because quite frankly, there wasn't really a heavy practice. Now, the last 2 games that Darnold has played in, he has taken pain-killing shots before those games and didn't really practice very much leading up to them. But Darnold himself has made very clear he was never concerned about his ability to play in those games and to do so at a high level. John Schneider, Mike McDonald, both saying that they were so impressed by the way Darnold handled all of it. He was never nervous, never concerned. He was full go all along. They were always kind of wondering whether he'd be at that full capacity, and he was. So they have no concern going into this game. They'll probably continue to limit his throws, but every week that he is getting further away from that injury, he continues to feel closer to 100%.
Yeah, it sounds like Sam Darnold should be 100% ready to go for Super Bowl Sunday. And Jeff, the news broke yesterday that the Raiders are expected to hire Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak as their next head coach. What more can you tell us about the hire?
Well, I can tell you part of the reason why the Raiders made that hire is exactly what Clint Kubiak has done leading up to this game, and something that has defined this Seahawks team and ultimately led to Kubiak getting that job is the way that he transitioned throughout this season to make this the best offense it could be. If you go back to that Week 11 loss to the Rams, you saw a team that was dealing with too many turnovers, 4 interceptions by Darnold in that game, and suddenly they transitioned to a more run-centric offense. That is something that the Raiders took note of as they watched this become one of the best run offenses in the NFL. They obviously still lean on Darnold heavily, but they have gotten to the point where they know exactly what their identity is. This offense under Kubiak has thrived. That is something that the Raiders believe they will get out of their coach after this game on Sunday.
Yeah, Jeff Darlington getting us set for the Super Bowl on the Seahawks side. Thanks so much right there, Jeff. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, to kind of further that conversation, under Kubiak's guidance, Darnold has been the story of the Seahawks playoff run. Darnold succeeded throwing deep this postseason, recorded nearly 9 yards per attempt in Seattle's wins over the 49ers and Rams, while completed about 70% of those attempts. But it is time to switch gears to the New England Patriots. Our pal and yours, Sal Paolantonio, Super Bowl number 34 for my guy Sal Pal. He's covering the Patriots, and injuries a story with every team this time of year, Sal Pal, but especially for the Patriots coming into this week. What can you tell us about some of those injuries?
Yeah, Super Bowl number 34. I got all the gray hair to prove it. I don't have that great hair like Jeff Darlington anymore. But I'll tell you, I was really fascinated by the details of Jeff Darlington's report about Sam Darnold, because it's completely different when you look at Drake Maye. This is uncharted territory for Drake Maye. He suffered that shoulder injury in the AFC Championship game. So we haven't really seen him throw the football at a high level for 8 days. Now, the New England Patriots will practice today, Palo Alto, at Stanford University. It's a 90-minute practice, but here's the rub. There will not be any pool reporter on the field to watch what happens, and we will not get an injury or practice report update about Drake Maye until 2 days from now on Wednesday. So we won't really get a clear picture of where Drake Maye is with that right shoulder. And why is it so important? Well, he's the engine that makes this offense run, not only in the passing game, but he is a terrific runner, a diabolical runner when he scrambles. Remember, he led all quarterbacks in the NFL, Matt Barry, with 63 scrambles this year, 9 for 125 in the postseason. So when he takes the ball, will he be afraid to run in the Super Bowl with that shoulder injury? The other injury is Robert Spillane. their middle linebacker, ankle injury, left the game in the first quarter of the AFC Championship game. Jack Gibbons had to get that green dot on the back of his helmet, communicate with Zach Kerr, the defensive coordinator, who's calling the plays now without their defensive coordinator available due to prostate cancer. So this is an interesting dynamic going on with the Pats right now on both offense and defense.
And I said it a minute ago, you've been to so many Super Bowls. With the Pats handling practice, is this normal how they're handling it this week? Is there anything unique the way that they're going to be doing it?
Well, what's different is, it's a bonus practice for the Patriots today because they don't normally practice on Mondays during the regular season unless there's a bye. So Mike Vrabel calls it a bonus practice. So they'll have an extra practice today, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the normal practice that you would have. And during this week, what they're going through is obviously third down situation on offense and defense, and of course red zone, and of course goal line, something that Mike Vrabel learned from Bill Belichick. Mike Vrabel's been and won 3 Super Bowls with Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels been in 9 Super Bowls. So these guys know the drill. They know what they're doing when they come to the Super Bowl. It's all about, really, though, important injuries on both sides of the ball, how they handle the rest and the recovery of these key players on offense and defense, Drake Maye and Robert Spillane.
No one knows Super Bowl protocol week more than our Sal Paolantonio. Can't wait to see you out there coming up later this week in the Bay Area. We're back. Matt and Amina with you on SportsCenter. All of the NFL head coaching vacancies unofficially filled after the Raiders and Cardinals made hires on Saturday. Raiders have to wait until the Super Bowl to make things official with Clint Kubiak. That's where this thing's headed. And the Cardinals announced Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur is their new head coach. Everyone trying to find that young offensive coach that comes from a coaching tree. That's what the Cardinals did as we welcome in our NFL insider, Dan Graziano. Okay, Graz, what can you tell us about the Cardinals, how they zeroed in on LaFleur as their next head coach?
Yeah, you mentioned coaching tree. He's coached under Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, Sean McVay did a brief stint with the Jets as offensive coordinator, which is his experience as a play caller. But, he was somebody the Cardinals had interest in early on. They interviewed him twice. The last step in their process was they, along with the Raiders, interviewed Clint Kubiak over the weekend. Once Kubiak was headed to the Raiders, this was the final move to be announced. But yes, a young, offensive-minded head coach, first-time head coach who has the pedigree, certainly, coming from that Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan tree, will be doing this for the first time with an uncertain quarterback situation.
There you go, because with Arizona, that conversation stops and starts with Kyler Murray, the #1 overall pick in 2019. Been some highs, been a lot of lows. What do you think the future holds for Kyler Murray after this decision was made to hire LaFleur?
So I think the feeling ever since about mid-season when Jacoby Brissett took over, Kyler Murray got hurt, was that the Cardinals were planning to move on from Kyler after the season. And when you talk to people around the league, that still seems to me to be the expectation. I think they would love to be able to trade him, but roughly $40 million in fully guaranteed money this year. And if he's on your roster third day of the league year, then his $19.5 million salary for next year, 2027, becomes fully guaranteed. So hard to see a team wanting to trade for that. If they are moving on, as expected, the Cardinals would have to release Kyler Murray prior to the third day of the league year to avoid that 2027 guarantee. He would then become a free agent, be able to sign with anybody, and we could go through any list we want about teams that might be interested in a veteran quarterback this offseason.
And, Graz, I would imagine that question with LaFleur during the interview process has to come up, right?
No question about it. Absolutely. I mean, the team, the GM, Monty Ossenfort, is not new. He knows what the plan is for Kyler Murray, and you want to make sure your incoming head coach is on board with it. So whatever the plan is, obviously Mike LaFleur takes this job with eyes open.
All right, Graz, good stuff. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, NFL draft analyst Matt Miller has a new 2-round mock draft on ESPN.com today. Miller has 2 quarterbacks taken over the first 2 rounds, Fernando Mendoza at #1 and Ty Simpson at 44 to the Jets. That would mark the fewest QBs in the first 2 rounds since 2022. 4 teams hold multiple first-round picks. The Browns, Cowboys, Rams, and Jets each have multiple first-rounders, with the Jets slated to pick twice in the top 16. Here's Miller's top 10 with 2 Miami Hurricanes in the top 4 and a pair of Ohio State Buckeyes at 5 and 7. Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love is Miller's #1 overall player. All right, Matt Miller's mock draft dropped on Groundhog Day. Unfortunately, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, so it's 6 more weeks of winter. And as Matt Barry said earlier, he just wants to punch the groundhog in the face. That's what he said. I get it, though. You see the snow outside, and it kind of...
Sick of you,
It
Phil.
kind of makes sense.
I'm sick of you. 20 inches of snow
Draft
outside.
Analyst Field Yates with us right now on ground. Stay with the groundhog theme. And yes, I do, with the snow, all the things. All right, let's take a look at this. In order for the top 5 teams in the draft to not experience Groundhog Day and have a shot at the postseason, what is the one thing they need to focus on in the offseason, starting with the Raiders?
I saw you, by the way. You lit up when you talked about those 2 Canes in the top 4. But let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think have sort of the easiest job in the 2026 NFL Draft. Draft Fernando Mendoza, right? The best player in the draft, clearly the best quarterback in the draft, the Heisman Trophy winner, who gives them a beacon of hope going forward, likely to pair with Clint Kubiak, the current Seahawks offensive coordinator. This is a hard play-action pass offense that he will implement. Fernando Mendoza has some experience in that. He's also a clutch performer, as we saw during that huge game against Miami with that terrific quarterback draw for a touchdown. The Jets, you got to build out the supporting cast here. Listen, it's not going to all happen in one day. It's not going to be a quarterback at number 2 as well. The offensive line is good. Let's go meat and potatoes, though, here. Arvell Reese, Ohio State, you have my attention, as it does Matt Miller's attention. So he went number 2 in Matt's mock. This is going to be a methodical build back up for the Jets. I hope as an organization they're patient. That's why you made those trades to get those extra first-round picks, acknowledging this is going to take some time. For the Cardinals, you got to beef up offensive line protection. Way too many sacks taken last year. First it was Kyler Murray, then it was Jacoby Brissett. A couple of offensive tackles would fit at number 3, CeCe Maui-Noah from Miami, amongst the top names to know, especially with Mike LaFleur now as the head coach, and aligns more with the scheme that he plays. He at least has coached in a scheme under Sean McVay that will align well with Maui-Noah. For the Titans, I know they need to continue to help Cam Ward, another Hurricane.
There we go.
But
See?
Let's not forget who they just hired as their head coach, Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator last year. They had just 20 sacks last season, dead last in the NFL. Why? They had no healthy pass rushers, basically for much of the season. You add a guy like David Bailey from Texas Tech, who led the FBS in sacks last year, that would make life better for Robert Saleh. And also, I'm sure, would make their top player on defense, Jeffrey Simmons, a very happy man as well. Finally, for the Giants, a lot of different directions. I got to be honest with you. Safety, Caleb Downs is intriguing to me, but adding another weapon for Jackson Dart has my attention as well. If the team does not bring back Wan'Dale Robinson, could they bring a Carnell Tate aboard to pair with Malik Neighbors? Carnell Tate would just be the latest in a series of Ohio State wide receivers going in the first round. It set a career high in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns last season. I'd argue he's on the short list for the most pro-ready prospects, regardless of position, in the entire 2026 NFL Draft.
I love how we stay with the groundhog theme. I don't love that we have 6 more weeks of winter, though.
I'm ignoring Phil. Like, seriously, what has Phil ever done for anybody?
I mean, come on.
Does anybody like Phil?
Do we need the groundhog?
No, we don't.
I don't think we need him.
Also,
Do we need you, though?
I did hear, and this is just a rumor going around the cafeteria here, that ESPN Maui is opening up soon.
I'm going to put my name in the, put my name in the bucket for that one.
Yeah, I'm part of it.
Field Yates with the latest. Thanks so much, Field.